Thanks for joining us, Lee. Let's have the assessment of an exciting opening day, really. What your assessment?
Yeah, perhaps too exciting. A little bit of a missed opportunity, but after going 2-0 down, take away the player being sent off because we hadn't been able to play against 10 men. We scored directly from what happened to go 2-2. A slight missed opportunity. I thought there's just a little bit of forcing the ball against 10 men. You have to go round them and build the ball up. But a good response after what was a difficult 25 minutes. They're a good team. You'd expect them to be right up there again. But once it settled down, we made a change at half times in terms of tactics, and I think that worked. But overall, you take a point after being 2-0 down.
You talk about tactics. You knew probably that they were going to settle with that type of diamond shape. Was it difficult for your players to just try and combat that?
Playing against the diamond is you can match up, and then it's a fullback v fullback game with crosses into the box. From each team, which sounds simple, it's not that simple. The energy-wise to be able to do what we did, once they got a grip of it, I thought they were fine. But it taxed them for later on in the game. You can see some cramp coming in because we've played till it's dark. So no, but look, I'll have to watch it back. But after again, 2-0 down, some pleasing stuff, some soft goals again. So plenty to work with and plenty to keep progressing with.
We'll expand a bit more, I think, as we talk a little bit more next week about the time that the games are taking. But you've had 17 minutes extra. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
We went to a meeting last week with all the managers. A couple of weeks ago, with all the managers, and they were explaining it. And apparently last week at Barnsley, we would have had 14 minutes added on to the end of the game. The players are running record numbers because they're fitter than they've ever been. You're now asking them to continue for another half an hour of a football match. It doesn't feel like football. I know they want the ball in for longer times, but you're taking away emotion, a lot of it, and players' professionalism in terms of how they manage the games. You can't manage the games because you don't know how long there's going to be left. It's really hard to manage, and that's what they want. But I just think there's going to come a point where the players are going to break. You saw them at the end, both teams. It's far too long. I understand why they're doing it, but I hope they see some sense later on in the season.
Well, your two goals came from two of your defenders. You're wanting goals from what you've got a very strong striking squad as well of players in terms of who can get goals, but nice for two defenders to be on the score sheet.
Yeah, 2 set plays, and we've spoke heavily about set plays. Our percentage from last year was really low. We've got to take that up, which then would mean we at something like 8% higher. We'd have been potentially 2 places higher up in the league from that. We want to do better than that, but good delivery into the box. They kept it alive, the first one, good little spin and hit. And Rio's got a knack of that, hasn't he? He's really good in the air, and he's had a good pre-season, Rio, so pleased for him. But yeah, obviously we had a few chances in the first half. We were under a lot of pressure, and then we get a break, and we just need to pull the trigger in the box one touch. It was a little bit overcomplicated at times, trying to take that extra touch. Obviously then Longy's hit the bar. In fact, it could have been about 7-5 to them at one point. I don't want too many of them. Yes, we're going to be a bit more expansive, but there's certainly aspects we need to work on and transition against us.
Well, you talk about your players playing longer and longer. You don't have long to go before you play again. Is it a case of now just looking at what you've got and probably making changes because you need to make changes? You can't ask that many games so short space of time.
Yeah, and I think the time-wise is going to have an impact on that. There's going to be players who would have wanted to play at Sunderland but are on their last legs, first game of the season, to ask them play that amount of extra times. I don't agree with it, and it will have an impact. They play tomorrow, so it'll have an impact on their squad. They've got a day less rest. We've just asked the players to get massages, look after yourself, fuel up, and we'll count the bodies on Monday.
Good atmosphere?
Brilliant,
Enjoyable day.
yeah, brilliant atmosphere, and I could sense their eagerness again when they went down to 10 men. Really wanted us to drive forward. I wanted us to go round because that's how you're going to get in. They block the middle of the pitch, and I think I've just explained to the players. You know, sometimes the enthusiasm from the fans can make you do something that's not the right thing to do. Building round against 10 men, which we spoke about, you can just end up 40-50 yards up the pitch, double switches, and before you know it, your winger or your full-back's got the ball and acres of space, and then you've got bodies towards their box. But yeah, really good support, you know, behind the goal and obviously in the big stand. They come in the numbers, and again, it felt like a real football match, and I'm sure everyone's excited for the season.